English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Hello, hello. Hello, chers auditeurs. Bienvenue à Your English Weekly sur le 92.1 FM, l'émission qui te présente le meilleur de la langue, de la culture ou de divertissement en anglais. Je suis ton animatrice Sinead de Your English Workshop et je suis ravie d'être ici aujourd'hui avec vous. Vous pouvez me trouver à Your English Workshop à Aix-les-Bains ou à la Ravoie. Et n'oubliez pas nos stages d'enfants primaires et collège qui commencent au mois de février. Les inscriptions sont ouvertes et il y a encore des places. Donc n'hésitez pas. L'épisode d'aujourd'hui est de la niveau A2 B1 avec un contenu assez passionnant, non seulement qui va vous améliorer vos capacités d'écoute, mais qui vont vous divertir également. Tout au long de l'émission, avec un petit jeu de mots de Tim, un petit conseil linguistique de ma part, et nous avons tout sur Your English Weekly. Vous pouvez réécouter cette émission sur YouTube. Good afternoon, lovely listeners, and welcome to Your English Weekly, the show that brings you the best of the English language, between culture and entertainment. I'm your host, Sinead, from Your English Workshop, and I'm thrilled to be here with Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Sinead.
So, Tim's episode this week is a B1 level about music and taste. And I will speak about the museum, Le Louvre, an A2 level, with lots of vocabulary that will help improve your listening skills and keep you entertained throughout the program, with my little language tip at the end. We've got it all for you on Your English Weekly on 92.1 FM. So don't miss out on the fun. Tune in, turn up the volume, and let's make your English learning an unforgettable experience. Hi, Tim. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, Sinead. And how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. On this lovely day that is not raining.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful weather.
Absolutely. So, Tim, your level is a B1 level today about music and senses.
Correct.
Ooh.
Interesting topic, actually. It's a new exhibition at Manchester's Science and Industry Museum as well.
Okay.
So similar to, but
nice.
Different to yours, obviously.
Obviously.
I know. However, they're asking visitors to match certain types of music with tastes.
Ooh, is that possible?
Is that possible? That's what I would like to know. And so, yes, apparently so. They ask, does this sound salty, sweet, bitter, sour, for example?
Now, you know, listeners, salty, sour, sweet, and bitter are all senses that we have when we eat. Yeah. Is it salty, which is pas mal de sel? Is it bitter, amer? Is it
sucré, sweet?
Sucré, sweet, yes. Yeah,
and sour is amer.
Amer. Okay, so bitter, sour, okay.
So this journalist went to the museum to find out more, and he listened to screechy music.
Ooh, what is screechy?
Well,
it's a noise that's very, very loud, I think. C'est un très haut bruit, c'est un bruit perçante, strident.
And that made him think of lemons, bitter lemons. Whereas he heard beautiful sounds, which made him see strawberries.
Les strawberries, les fraises.
Indeed. However, he wants to show that music is not only for people that play or read music. There's music everywhere and has an emotional response to what individual people hear.
Sounds fantastic.
So he's in Western music. There's a lot of associations between major keys and happiness, and minor keys and sadness. Said the co-curator of this exhibition.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. So minor keys, which are sort of low keys, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
So they make sadness, whereas high keys, screechy noises, they create happiness. Interesting.
Yes, and that was also the ability, well, as we all know, music helps us relax, and it's used for helping treat dementia. And
dementia, what is dementia? It's la démence.
Okay. And in care homes, they've introduced music therapy sessions, and it's helped patients be less agitated and distressed.
Okay, agitated, l'agitation. Oui. Okay, and distress, not be stressful.
Yeah. So in turn, they're taking less drugs now for the illnesses. Also, another I found funny fact is in supermarkets they play generic French music or German music in wine sections, and they found this has increased the wine sold from that country.
Oh, that is an interesting fact. And what about classical music?
Classical music, that's apparently it helps with buying more luxurious purchases.
Oh, no, really?
Apparently so. So, yes, that's what this is all. Obviously, surveys have been done, and
of course,
country music apparently encourages more functional purchases.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
and what does fast music do then?
Fast music makes people shop more quickly.
Oh, really?
And it explains why sometimes at Waterloo Station they play faster music like the marching bands, and it stops it's to stop the commuters hanging around in the concourse.
Okay, so you know that hanging around is déambuler, hanging around.
Yes, and lastly, interestingly, for productivity, music helps with mechanical tasks, but can be distracting if we're doing more complex cognitive tasks.
Okay, so the tâches cognitive. Okay. Ah, that sounds good. We forgot to say what your pun was this week, but we'll give it at the end.
Okay.
When I give my little language tip. Anyway, listeners, as I said earlier, I was going to talk today a little bit about the Louvre Museum, and you're going to hear a few words from me, which will be, for example, housed, which means loger, displaying, exposant, artworks, des œuvres d'art, quoted, cité, characterized, caractérisé, against, contre, an offset, that's the big word of the day, an offset, and contrebalance, and of course, very often mixed up in English, sort. What does sort mean? Rechercher. So, the Louvre Museum, so this is brought to you today from Vocab, on page 29 of this month's Vocab. The Louvre Museum in Paris, France, is one of the world's largest and most visited art museum. It housed in the Louvre Palace, a former royal palace built in the 12th century. The museum's history dates back to the French Revolution, when it was opened to the public in 1793, displaying an extensive collection of artworks previously owned by the French monarchy. Over the years, the Louvre has expanded its collection from ancient civilizations to the 19th century. It includes paintings, sculptures, decorative arts, and artifacts from various cultures worldwide. Some of the most famous artworks housed in the Louvre include the Venus de Milo, the Winged Victory of Samothrace, and the famous Mona Lisa.
Oh,
Tim,
well, yes.
Do you know that one?
I've heard of her.
Who hasn't heard of her?
She's been in the limelight recently, in the spotlight.
Why was she in the spotlight?
Because there were two female protesters.
Yes.
Went in and they threw pumpkin soup at the painting.
Oh, no.
But obviously it had a protective glass screen in front of it, so it didn't get damaged. But they were protesting for, it was a food counter-attack. They want more health and sustainable food, so...
But I don't know what the Mona Lisa...
I don't know what she had to do with it.
Has to do with that. No. But anyway, she was painted by the famous painter...
Da Vinci, no?
Of course, Leonardo da Vinci. Between 1503 and 1506. It's probably quoted the most famous painting in the world, as it characterizes a woman with a very mysterious smile against a distant landscape. Anyway, all of that to say that the Louvre Museum director is Laurence Degas at the moment, and for those that don't know, she is raising the ticket price from €17 to €22 this month in the latest sign that the visitors may face higher costs ahead for the Olympics, because of the Olympics in Paris. So the Louvre explained that the 30% rise will go into effect on the 15th of January, so last week, as part of the museum's effort to cancel out, or contrebalancer the rising energy costs and support its free admission programs for some locals. So I do understand, okay? So since she was appointed, which means she's in command, the Louvre's president and director, Laurence Degas, since 2001, has sought solutions, has looked for solutions. Well, anyway, Tim, just to continue a little bit, do you know why the Mona Lisa was famous?
It slipped my mind, Sinead. Can you remind me?
Of course I can. Of course, just for listeners to know or to remember too, I'm not an expert in art, but the Mona Lisa gained global fame in 1911 when it was robbed from the Louvre. It was actually stolen from the Louvre in 1911. And the painting was recovered in 1914, and since then it has become a symbol of art and culture.
Do they know who stole it?
Well, I don't know. I didn't go that far into the who stole it. Of course, she was so admiring that people wanted her. So it is admired for its artistic mastery by Leonardo da Vinci. But he also used what they call a sfumato, which is a technique that creates sort of a hazy, dreamlike atmosphere. And of course, we all know about the mysterious expression on her face.
Yes.
So today the Louvre Museum attracts millions of visitors each year, but we will never have time to talk about all of that. So before I finish, my dear listeners, you can recover the script for today on your English Weekly, on your English Workshop website. And Tim, do you want to tell us what the pun of the day is?
I hope you get it this week. It's writing with a dull pencil is pointless.
Oh, I do actually get it this week. So listeners, if you don't get it, writing with a dull pencil, which means a pencil that you cannot see very much of, is useless because it is pointless. It's got no tip on it. Oh, good work, Tim. And for me, just a quick tip of the day with vocabulary today. Don't forget, listeners, vocabulary is very important. You can make a mistake in your grammar, But if you don't have vocabulary, it's difficult to have a conversation. So the idea is create 10 new words. Use today's example, for example, on the museum article, and create 10 sentences. And every morning for 1 week or for 5 days, you read your sentences. And as I always say, a little every day goes farther than doing all in one day. Anyway, I hope you learned a lot today with myself and Tim about the music and senses and the Museum Louvre. Expanded your vocabulary. You can listen to this podcast, as I said, on YouTube on 92.1 FM. You can join me every week from 12:15 to 12:30, providing the perfect dose of the language and culture to brighten your day. So come back with us next week. But before you leave, remember we've got at 5 o'clock, 1 hour, one commune with Grésy Serex avec Jean-Pierre. At 7:30, alors, I have to say in French, of course, la 16e, l'émission sur le cinéma avec Kevin et Guillaume. Well, that's all for today with us. So I wish you a wonderful day. Bye to you from us at you.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Radio Grand Lac.